10 things that could be wrecking your hormones. Okay, so you're checked in with your body, you know that something's off. You kind of think it might be hormonal related to your period, or maybe your period started getting a little bit longer, heavy or something, and you've got some things going on, whether it's mood related, the irritability, the anxiety, even depression, or whether it's more kind of tingly skin, hair loss, weight gain around the abdomen. You know something's off, you know something's wrecking your hormones, and you just don't know where to start. Today we're going to go through 10 tips that it's kind of these little things that we can be doing. But as we go through them, don't think that you have to do every single one, because if you think you have to do every single one, that's when you get stressed out and your cortisol goes up and this cycle keeps going and your hormones get wrecked, and it just keeps on going and going and going. Let's dive into the 10 things that could be wrecking your hormones, or at least playing a part in them going all over the show, but more importantly, things that you can do to help. Number one, let's talk about alcohol. Alcohol's not your friend, and unfortunately when we get into perimenopause or these hormonal things going on, alcohol is your first port of call. If you're drinking every night, just give a little experiment. You don't have to give it up forever. Just let's go 2 weeks. Take your symptoms of what you're having now, go 2 weeks alcohol free, and then take your symptoms. And it could be just a smack in the face of exactly alcohol is the one thing that you need to just get rid of, or you need to change up. Now, changing up alcohol can be quite difficult because it's quite a social thing. So we all like to have a drink in hand when we're around our social. So forward plan, whether it's just fizzy water, or whether it's a mocktail, whether it's kombucha, whether it's just something that you can have in a special occasion. You're still having it in a wine glass if wine is where you kind of like to drink. And you're still being included. So just give it a go for 2 weeks. You've got nothing to lose and everything to gain. So alcohol, start there. Number 2 is processed foods. So processed foods is a big one. So it's having a look in your diet and having a look at where are you having the most processed foods, and at what other swaps that you can be having. So for example, if you like salty foods, if you like chips, and that's the processed foods that you've been having, how can you change it up to have something? So it might be, say it's salt and vinegar chips. Can you have salt and vinegar rice crackers or salt and vinegar popcorn? Step it back one step healthier. It's one step, and it's one step in the right direction. So having a look at your diet, where do you fall down most with processed foods, and just taking it that one step. Number 3 is artificial sweeteners. So we've got into this thing that, calories in, calories out, and then taking the artificial sweeteners, but they can be wrecking your hormones. And I've found with a lot of my clients, as soon as they give up their Diet Coke or the artificial sweeteners that they've been taking on, their hormones just level out. And so just give it a go. Give up the Diet Coke, give up the any sort of whatever sweeteners that you're having and sweeten things with natural sugars like the stevias, like the monk fruit, even maple syrup. This is one step closer to being healthier. So you don't need to think about getting it perfect. Just think about getting it one step better, and give up those artificial sweeteners because they are wrecking your hormones. Number 4, and this is one of the first steps I do with my clients, is give up gluten. What I tend to do is to say, okay, give up gluten for 2 weeks. And even if you're like, I think not too sure, I react to it a little bit, but I only have a little bit, give it up for 2 weeks, full give it up. So look at your soy sauces, not only breads, your pastas, but full soy sauces, everything. And then I want you to add it back into your diet for about 5 days. You will know in your body, your sore joints, your brain, your mood, your just bloatedness, you'll know pretty quickly that gluten is not great for you, and it's a really smack in your face again, because a lot of the time people will say, I'm gluten intolerant, so I can have a little bit, but even that little bit might be just be playing with your hormones. So give it a go, because it might just be something that is a game changer for you. Number 5, let's talk about processed sugars. So sugars is obviously a big one, and we try to give it up. Sugars is I could talk about all day about how to give up sugars, but just look to where you're having the most sugars in your diet. So some people say they're not having any sugars, yet they're having a lot of sauces and that side of things. So that's the predominantly sugars in your diet. So all those processed sugars, I'm not talking about fruits, I'm not talking about things with fiber in it, I'm talking about the really highly processed sugars. Anywhere in your diet that you've got this going in, just try having a swap, whether it's having a swap for things like dates, things like even dried fruit is way better than the processed sugars. It's taking, again, that one step and still filling that craving, because we still get cravings. It's filling that craving, but in a healthier way. So if you're forward planning this and you're putting boundaries in place, so when that craving does come on, instead of reaching for the donuts and reaching for the cookies, you're actually reaching for something that you've pre-made, the scroggin with a whole lot of the dark dark chocolate or dried fruit in, and just give that a go for a little bit, because what we find, if you're wearing a Whoop or a Garmin and it can track your stress, what sometimes people find is that when they have those sugars, even though they're sitting down watching TV or whatever, their stress response goes through the roof. So just find out to see if this is you and if it's reacting to you, because if it is going to be playing with your hormones. So doing that could be a really good step for you. Number 6, let's talk about caffeine. Now, caffeines are kind of a big one as well, because there's kind of a balance to it. Sometimes it's not about having the caffeine, it's when you're having it. So for example, if you're getting up in the morning and on an empty stomach, you're reaching for that caffeine, give it a go in terms of having something to eat before, because if you're having caffeine straight on an empty stomach, it could be increasing your cortisol response, which would be getting your hormones out of whack and everything that kind of happens from there. However, it's just caffeine, and it's just something that you need to eat before you have your caffeine. If you really like the caffeine, but you find actually it's quite, you get kind of quite a high anxiety, or your chest starts speeding, but you still like that kind of turn on of the mental stimulus, try matcha green latte. It does have caffeine in it, but it's also got L-theanine, which decreases the stress response. So that could be more of an avenue for you to still have that mental stimulation without the increase in cortisol and everything else snowballing from there. So give caffeine, and if you find that you are really respond to caffeine, then try decaf, try things like roasted dandelion. That can be really good. It's got that bitter taste. So some people find that it kind of soothes their craving for that bitter taste, but yet it's really good for your liver, and it's not caffeinated as well. So give that a go. Number 7, let's talk about BPA. So BPA wrecks your hormones. If you've got plastics in your house, just throw all your plastics out and get glass containers. There's heaps of glass containers out there now, and they're pretty cheap. So store all your foods, your leftovers, in those glass containers. If you are ever heating anything up in the microwave, please don't use plastic. Use glass, or the heat-proof glass only. Those plastics, when they heat it up, they're going to be terrible for your hormones. So please stop doing that. Another one with BPA is a drink bottle. Go glass, go stainless steel. I wouldn't even go BPA free plastic. I'd just get rid of the plastic and go glass or go stainless steel. That's a big one, especially if that water bottle's been heated up in the sun and then you drink it. It is the worst. Please don't do that. Get rid of your drink bottle that's plastic and get one that's glass or stainless steel. Another one along the lines of BPA is phthalates. Phthalates spelled PHTHALATES. I'm a terrible speller, so I had to look. They are terrible for your hormones. So have a look at all your beauty products, and next time you go to buy a cleanser, a moisturizer, just make sure it's phthalate free. So go through, and all your fragrances as well, have a look at those. So we want phthalate free fragrances and all the cosmetic products. I mean, even your cleaning products. You don't have to get rid of things all at once, but just next time you go to buy them, just think, I got to go phthalate free, and you will have that next step to not disrupting your hormones, which could be making you feel real shit. Okay, let's talk about seed oils for number 9. Seed oils are terrible to cook with. I know they're cheap, but they're terrible. They're going to increase inflammation, which then kind of drives this process of our hormones and disrupting and everything. So instead of having the seed oils, cook with either olive oil, coconut oil, and when you're making your salad dressings, have either olive oil or something like avocado oil. So stay away from the seed oils, the canola oil, sunflower oils. Just get them out of your house. Don't buy those anymore. Number 10, maybe a bit of a controversial one, is excess red meat. Now, I like red meat. I eat red meat maybe once a week, but I say excessive red meat because quite often we will say, oh, I don't have much red meat, but you're having it every day, whether it's in, your luncheon meats with ham or that side of things. So just decrease your red meat consumption. Replace it with something like the seafoods or the plant-based proteins. They can be a really good diversity for your diet. So when you're ever taking something out, make sure you're adding something in. So have a look at how much red meat you're actually eating. And let's keep it to the quality red meats too, the steaks rather than the hams and salamis. Let's definitely get those processed red meats out of your diet, and just keep them with the lambs, the steaks, that sort of things is great for you. Having it once or twice a week. Otherwise, just replace it with chicken, turkey. You've got endless options there, as well as the seafoods. Seafoods are amazing. It's going to increase your omega-3s rather than your omega-6s, which is in your seed oils, red meats, and just be way better for your hormones and inflammation in your body. Okay, so that is 10 things that you can make small swaps on. And again, like I said in the introduction, you don't need to go out and do all of these 10 things, because if you do, chances are in a week's time, you're going to forget it all and be doing nothing. So just concentrate on one. Start with your plastics in your house. I mean, you're not even starting with what you're eating. Just start with plastics. I'm sure there's sales on Briscoes or homeware stores, and just start getting those glass containers and putting all your leftovers in there. Get rid of your drink bottle that's plastic, even if it's BPA free, get rid of it and get glass or stainless steel. Just pick one thing. You don't need to do everything. So all these small things that add up, and if you just do one thing at a time, and that makes it easy. And a few months from now, your hormones won't be out of whack as much as they are now. So if you like these tips and you want to learn more, then in the description below, you'll see a link to my five-step blueprint to help regain your energy, confidence, and health after 40. So if you're interested in just the blueprint of that, super simple, super easy, just where to narrow your focus and have a look kind of like at the bigger picture level, then go and click the link below and you'll get sent a video.